Do you want to talk about the differences between the alpha and the beta before we get into the actual gameplay mechanics?
Oh, sure. We can get into that. One of the major differences is you have to pay money now.
Yes. Yeah. Now you earn coins, which allow you to eventually unlock a character if you have enough coins to pay for that character. Or you can obviously spend real world money to get coins or whatever the other metric is that buys coins within the game.
Yeah. Well,
it's like there's like multiple currencies too, which makes absolutely no sense to me.
I think it's pretty par for the course of like most games of this kind, but I guess the hang up I have is, take the battle pass for example. Most battle passes, you can probably still play a game for a relatively long amount of time. Maybe get your bank out of like a free to play game, and like be able to unlock a few things. You play long enough, maybe like a couple, for longer than most people pay for it, I guess, right? But in the case of this one, the currency for unlocking characters are these gemstones, but the gemstones are only available if you pay for them, and you cannot attain them from any other way, at least at present in the battle pass or otherwise. So if you want to for example, get a costume for Harley Quinn, the only way to get it is to pay money.
Yep.
Even that's not like super unusual in the modern climate, right? Like you'll have a bunch of games where you can only get custom skins if you're paying real world money, or if you're buying the DLC, or investing it in some.
But the unusual thing about this is how expensive it is. Whereas most cosmetics and other things,
it's like $20 to unlock a character if you actually wanted to do that,
or $15 you try to segment purchases.
And they do that thing where they'll sell the packs of currency, but there'll be like these uneven amounts where you always have a little bit left over that you can't buy anything with. And they do that specifically, so you want to keep buying.
They do that intentionally so you buy more, exactly. And look, I mean, that's the whole free-to-pay model, or free-to-play model, right?
Free-to-pay.
You have to... Yeah, free-to-pay. So you need to have some way with these games of monetizing it. You need to have some way to subset the fact that no one's paying $60 to actually play the base game, right? I'm not against that. It's just, it's kind of absurd, like, what's being offered. Like, the actual base game on its own, you can play a decent amount, you can get a decent amount of the characters if you're grinding with it, but no one really wants to grind with it. It's not like Smash Bros. Where there is, like, a sort of feeling of reward if you've played enough of it. It's, like, just such a slog to get to that point, I
think, compared to other things as well, the grinding seems a bit more tedious here. I think what I compared it to y'all was Crash Team Racing, and how different. Of course, this is a free-to-play game compared to that being a fully paid game, I guess, just to mention. But it is the same in terms of how much it was priced, whereas it took a very long time to maybe unlock a thing compared to just putting down a lot of money, which I think the tedium is very intentional.
Yeah, and we mentioned that in the alpha, it was a lot easier to unlock characters. No, you also got through earning the gold in there, but I'm pretty sure you earned the gold a lot faster, and they didn't cost as much.
Well, you earned the gold faster. You also just got characters for playing the game, so you didn't have to spend gold every single time you wanted to get a character. You would get some characters just through unlocking.
You did have to use gold in the alpha to get characters, just that. And I think earning gold was probably faster just because it was the alpha, I guess, which is probably
right.
Maybe if you're going to get real cynical, maybe it's so easy to earn gold and get the characters compared to the final game where it's like, everyone's spreading the good word, and maybe, I don't know. And then the beta comes out now, and it's like, it's clearly taking slower than what we experienced in the alpha, which could be by design to get good word, or just because it was the alpha versus the beta, so.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's really the only key difference between the alpha and the beta is the monetization of it all, right? Like, the actual gameplay is pretty consistent. The characters, I didn't really notice too many changes. We had talked about how overpowered Taz was, for example.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do anything to Kirby yet, so.
They have said that they're going to patch it soon. Yeah. They also said the same thing for Iron Giant and his down attack.
Yeah, Iron Giant's just in tank right now. It's basically impossible to knock off stage unless you really wail on him. So, I mean, granted, that's only a couple characters. For the most part, I think it's pretty well balanced. It's like any other fighting game where you have some characters that people just excel with that are S-class by just nature of their moveset, by, skill. Aside from that, I'm pretty happy with the mechanics of it.
So here's one thing, and this is on my negatives. So I think this is only while it's in early beta access. They have these things called Founders Packs You know what? They might actually extend them into the
I'm
beta.
assuming that's not going to go away.
No, it said on Steam it was it says, quotations, I guess, that it's going to be it's a limited time thing.
Okay, so they're selling these Founders Packs on Steam, but here's the thing. Like, kids see people playing this game on Twitch, and there was people like me who, like, signed up early with the email list, and I got the alpha so I could play the beta early as well. So that's why there's some people playing it early, but the game is also going to be free to play, but it's not out to the public just yet at the time of this recording. The thing is, I'm sure people who, like, I guess just aren't paying attention or aren't aware, they're buying the Founders Packs on Steam. Judging by some of the reviews I read, made it sound like they're buying the Founders Packs thinking that they're buying the game, but they're not buying the game, they're just buying all this crap. And in these Founders Packs, the least of which costs, I think, there's $40, $60, and then $100. And there's character unlock tokens in them. So the least you can get, I think, was 15, and then it's 30, and then I'm not sure what the final one is. But it's like, they include all this extra junk. The point is, say I pay, I think $40 would have been a fair price for this game with all the characters that it currently has, and then more to be added. Fine. You get 15 character unlocks. But here's the thing. How many characters are there right now? Like maybe, 12-ish?
I think it's more than that, right? A little more.
Yeah, right. It's 12 or more.
I don't know. It's hard to remember when you're like not literally playing as every single character.
It's if I recall, you said it's less than the original Smash Brothers.
Well, the original Smash, you started with 8 and you unlock 4, so that was 12.
That's what you were talking about, the unlocks, because in this you only get 3, or was it 4 characters? You get Taz, Wonder Woman. Yeah.
So from our memory, there's like 12 characters, 12-ish to start with, and you start with 4. So say you bought the $40 thing with the 15 character unlock tokens, and because it's like a Smash type game, fighting game, you want to have the variety of characters to have that replayability. So right off the bat, you're losing 8 tokens and you're left with 7, and there's already 3 new characters announced just to come out. One right when this releases, LeBron James, and then Rick and Morty. So it's like, obviously what they want people to do is just keep spending, and this is gaming now. Not just buying a game, although, some games still release that way, but the whole free-to-pay model, I hate it. It's disgusting. It's despicable. And it's going to make me not want to come back to this because, like, do I have to seriously either keep shelling out cash every time there's a new character that I want to use, or get on that grind, and then by the time I unlock the character, I'm already burnt out?
I am a little afraid that this could come off as, these guys are just complaining about the free-to-play model that's existed for years, but I think... I hate it. I think more than that, though, I think what needs to really be understood is, compared to free-to-play experience I have experienced, which is not a lot, but this one seems to be the most predatory, almost. Is that the word you would use?
Yeah, predatory.
Yeah, that's a good word.
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
I feel like for me, this game is good enough that I would be willing to give some money to it, but the way that they're expecting you to give the money is I think is the big issue. Like if this were just a $60 game or even $40, even $60, I would have probably just bought it, and then that would have been it. Free updates maybe, or if it was like another pass, I don't know. I mean, I think $40 is the closer price actually.
Well, enough about the monetization. So let me go through my positives and then some negatives, and then I have a few neutral comments. So, as I think, Paris, you mentioned a little bit, the combat, for the most part, is fun. I like it. The basic moves are solid. When they connect, it's satisfying. Everything works out good. You got your up attack, your side attack, your down attack. I'm still kind of unsure on the neutral attack, like where you just stand still being a charge only, but other than that, I like it. It's decent.
I think that it's very floaty. It's like...
Brawl?
Brawl wasn't floaty. That was just like... I guess when I think floaty and Brawl, I probably just think Meta Knight. But... I guess.
Okay, I get what you mean.
Well, floaty as in it takes a long time to, knock people out because they keep... they have a lot of leeway when they're launched.
I would say that's like heavy, maybe, or like there's like a lot. There's not a lot of
right. Well, I mean, there is something to be
There's
said. Like
too
the
much
characters
weight,
have a lack of weight to them, right? Like literally, they feel like they're lighter, like they're more 2-dimensional than some of their other interpretations.
It feels like take the Iron Giant. He's very heavy, but all the same, if you hit him with Velma's little like microphone or magnifying laser thing, he still gets knocked back at a higher percent, just like everyone else. But he still takes a long time to get knocked out with other means. So I guess it's like attack base, and is either like attack base or like special base.
You know what I did notice, because I'm kind of maining Iron Giant at this point? Because he's heavier, he's harder to control when he gets launched. Because I notice sometimes when I'm at a high percentage and I get hit out, like I'll press every single button on the controller to try to gain control of him, but he just keeps going and going and going. Whereas with a lighter character, I feel more easier to kind of, adjust yourself midair and get back in.
Right.
Which makes sense. Like weight should be a factor in that.
Part of me was considering the fact that I thought for a while there that there wasn't like a solid weight. Like everyone pretty much felt like everyone's very close to weight in this game, no matter who they are, except for
some of the tank characters, Iron Giant, Superman 2, Garnet. They are just harder to knock out. Yeah, Garnet to a lesser extent, but I mean each of those have more of a weight to them than some of the others.
It was just hard to notice at first until I guess I tried everyone out. I guess in the training room,
the lab,
right.
Other thing I like, the move sets for each character. They don't feel too generic or copied. There are no echoes yet. So the movesets are unique. They seem, attuned to the character and their whole background and everything. Pretty good. Good.
Well, they do have their own version of Echo that I seem they are not doing much with yet. Whereas, take for Jake, for example. Unfortunately, this is locked by the, I guess, $5 part. Was it the Legend Battle Pass or whatever? You pay $5 for it. But there are characters, it is looking like, that will have alternate skins that are just other versions of that character. Like, say, for example, Superman, but instead it's Bizarro Superman. Or Jake, but it's Cake. And they have different voice acting and lines. Shaggy also has this in the game currently.
I mean, that's really just an alternate skin with like a little bit of voice acting added. That I'm not against.
Yeah, I'm saying like that's their version of that's like their version of an Echo. It's just in another outfit. It's more to me. It's more than a skin because it comes with a new voice actor. I guess.
Right. Well, if anything, that's just selling the freemium model a little bit. It's like saying why people should buy the skins as opposed to skins in other games.
I'm saying it's impressive. I'm not saying it's still. I'm not still saying it's a shame that it's locked behind that. The animation, sound quality, all that the game. I was trying to get into that. The animation quality of all that is good. Voice acting. They got a lot of the original voice actors, or at least the most popular voice actors for their roles.
Yeah, that's true. That was a plus.
Yeah,
it's cool hearing Batman from the animated series and like Tara Strong as Harley Quinn.
Another thing I like is the UI customization options. You can choose where you have the percentages like on the characters or at the bottom of the screen with the pictures like in Smash. You can have the cooldowns up there or down there. You can change the colors of the outlines or have no outlines. Good amount of options. I dig it.
Yep.
Another thing that was good, the connection and online matches. Pretty steady. Haven't had too many issues there.
Yeah, I mean, I had a couple issues in the alpha, but even that seems to have been patched. For all I know, that could have just been the internet on my end, too. Like, I wouldn't really blame the game for that.
Yeah. Local matches. You can play with any character. You don't have to unlock. So if you have somebody at your house and you just give them a controller, you can play with anybody.
Honestly, just download the game.
At least there's that.
Yeah, download the game and just play with friends, really.
And my final positive, as stated, the possibilities for the roster are virtually endless. So obviously anyone from DC, any iteration, animated, live action, comics or otherwise, anyone from Looney Tunes, anyone from Hanna-Barbera, anyone from Cartoon Network, you know who they got to put in? Smiling Friends. Which we should talk about eventually because that's a good series.
Yeah, I mean, they're including Rick and Morty. I'm sure they're going to include some other Adult Swim stuff.
Like, maybe, I was going to say Master Shake, but Frylock would probably be a better choice.
Hey, Pim. I know it's our job to help this guy and everything, but I really think he's just a lost cause.
So, beyond the whole freemium model or, free-to-pay model, What are your negatives? Yeah.
Okay, so the first one, and we just noticed this when we were playing last night, the infinite dodging. I don't think that's a good idea.
It's actually not infinite, and I'm not sure how they were pulling that off, because I did notice there is a dodge counter, and that's actually in the tutorials too. Yeah, so it's not infinite, it's just some characters, some people do know how to use it, and some people know how to abuse it, so.
Yeah, I have not finished the advanced tutorial, so CJ, you need to enlighten us here.
Yeah, so there's a meter, like there is a finite number of times you can dodge before it eventually just craps out on you and you have to wait for it to refill. That does refill if you're attacking characters too, so, you know, you could potentially get into a cycle of dodging, attacking, dodging, and, you know, never have to wait for that thing to refill, so that's one drawback. Again, it seemed like sort of a freak vacuum thing where John and I just happened to be facing a 2v2 team that just kept seeming to miss every single one of our attacks. Nothing seemed to land. They seemed to be dodging all this shit.
Okay, maybe this was just a fluke, and I'm overreacting, but it was a Jake and a Superman. So I was trying to make contact with this Superman who was just hovering in the air, and every single time I got near him, he just teleport, and he just kept doing that, and I have no idea how. And I just could not touch him. It was the most frustrating thing ever.
It could also just be a glitch with the character, too. It might not be the dodging mechanic specifically. Because Superman does have some, really cheap moves in this thing. You know,
Yeah, he has, instant transmission, which makes sense, but it's also, pretty weird to keep track of.
Yeah.
Even when you're playing as him, I guess, I think.
It is odd, though, how you can basically, dodge so many times in midair, whereas something like Smash, it's the one time and then you fall. So I'm not sure.
Very floaty game. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
And even in Brawl, you couldn't do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Unless you're a Meta Knight.
So private online matches, the host has to have a good connection, preferably wired, because we played with CJ. He was on Wi-Fi and literally unplayable. I could not do anything.
The weird thing, it was fine when it was just me in Paris, but it's as soon as you joined, it was just giving out. So I don't know if it was just, too many people in the connection, if that's an issue with mine specifically or what. But yeah, I mean, I guess if it's a privately hosted thing and I'm acting as the server, that you're going to run into some issues. But even that isn't necessarily an issue with the game. It's more just me having shitty internet.
Yeah. I mean, it could be something on their end that they can patch later. We'll just call it a desynchronization issue for now on Wi-Fi.
Sure.
Next, when you're in a private match, you can't play free-for-all and have it with lives, stock. We don't know why. Every time we set it to that, it just defaults to, the whole scoring thing, which I'm still not sure how that works, that whole system. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It's 1 second... somebody's dominating, and then they get hit out once, and then somebody else is the leader.
It seems to be actively grading us on our performance in real time, while also grading us on how many stocks we're taking. Or KOs, I guess.
From what I can tell, you get a edge if you knock out someone who's ahead of you. If you knock out the leader, you get more points than if you knocked out someone who's below you, and it sort of adjusts that way, but it's not really a clean algorithm.
Yeah, it's not clear. They need to say something about that if they haven't already. Maybe they did, and it's buried somewhere.
It's probably in the menu, the same place you probably find the character descriptions or tutorials or whatever.
Next, you can't play free-for-all in a private online match without adding bots to get it up to 4 players. So if we just wanted to have the 3 of us, we can't do that. We have to add a bot. Why?
Agreed.
Because for some reason, the free-for-all seems to be designed to only work with 4 people.
Another thing. You can't play a local match with bots. So like I said, you can use any of the characters if you just, do local, say, with somebody else. But if you just want to say, in Smash, when you just play with bots, nope, you cannot do that here. No bots for you. You have to have a person in a local match. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Does not make sense.
Yeah, you have to be you have to be online if you want to fight a bot by yourself as well.
Yeah, I don't get that.
So there's no I guess you go to training mode, you can pick whoever and fight whoever, but I feel that's probably more just there to, I guess, make you look, I kind of do like this costume in motion now that I think about it. Kind of I feel from it. I don't know.
You also can't use locked characters in private online matches. I get not being able to use them in public, but why not in private? Just more incentive to grind or buy.
Yeah, exactly. No one's going to pay for them if you can play as them in certain modes, right?
Yeah. Now, you have to be online to do solo bot matches. just against a bot. Can you use locked characters? Nope.
Well, I believe when you select a bot match, it selects the character for you. It even puts you through the matchmaking system thing for some reason. Because when I did it, it said matchmaking while setting up a bot match, and then it set me up against a random level 10 character. Same thing with the free for all and 2v2s. All of them just have different like puns on bot, and then that's it. And you still can't pause the game or anything.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. So we talked about how all the characters are locked, and how you gotta grind, etc., etc. So here's my problem with getting gold. You can only get gold if you play online matchmaking. Private matches don't count, anything offline doesn't count, only online matchmaking is the way you get gold.
Including the bot matches, apparently.
Because that's the only way you level up the characters, and leveling up the characters and the battle pass, where it's like has certain tiers where you get gold, the only way you get gold.
You can grind objectives off of the bots. So, I'm not going to say there's that. That's just kind of weird, really.
Yeah. Then they have something called skill training, which is where you can go in and marginally increase the stats of all the perks. But you know what that costs? Gold. So choose.
You mean the currency I had to use to buy my characters?
Yes.
See, I got to choose between making my character stronger and if I want to play as Iron Giant.
Yeah, I'm not sure why anyone would go for that at this point.
I don't have no time for that. I got a 9 to 5 to work. You know what? Maybe I can spend just $20.
Yep. So the final thing is the battle pass. It doesn't really have much to it as it stands. I don't know if there'll be a lot more once it's in full release, but yeah. As far as the preview goes, there isn't a lot there. You got it, right?
Yes, I did.
And what do you think?
It is a battle pass. I think it's weird you can't get the gems, because that would be useful for getting characters, especially since there's no alternative other than spending money to get, not characters, outfits. Which is weird, because any other free-to-play thing I've looked at always has a way to earn towards the currency to get outfits at the very least.
Other than that, really all I had to comment on was, I guess they'll add more stages eventually, because there aren't too many. They don't have too much going on.
I will say one thing I wasn't clear about in terms of the outfits. If this was like any other free, let's talk about the quality of the game again, how we think it's good. I could have probably still put like $60 down on it, but the problem with that is, even if I did that, I'm probably going to be able to get like maybe 1 or 2 cosmetics. If I'm lucky, 3, depending on how it is for a character, since the prices for each character seems to be like kind of randomly decided. Like for Garnet, it's 700 gems for her outfit, whereas for Harley Quinn, it's 2,000, was it? Or 1,700?
I think it's, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, even with spending that much money, it's like, I remember looking at the Founders Pass at $100, you're still not really getting much.
Yep.
If I recall correctly, I saw something saying that you had to spend over $400 currently to get everything in the beta.
Well, I guess that pretty much sums it up. Decent game at its core. A lot of possibilities, but what they're doing with it to try to sell stuff, yikes, to say the least.
I'm sorry, it's $255 to unlock everything currently available.
Currently available.
Just want to double check.
Okay, then. I guess that's enough here.
Real quick, if you could have any character in there, who would you want it to be?
I don't know. One of the Teen Titans.
Yeah, probably Larry David.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Goku. Sue me.
Yeah.
What you just saw was a clip from our full show, the Utterly Nonsense Podcast. The episode in its entirety can be found on utterlynonsense.com or by checking the links in the description below. Subscribe for more, and as always, thanks for listening.